I'm going to start with what I'll call a dream. So if you want to, maybe it's easiest to do this with your feet flat on the floor. And this, for this dream, for this journey, it's kind of an introduction to your imagination, maybe to experiencing it a little differently, maybe to direct it. And for all of these, your experience will vary. So there's no right or wrong. Everybody will have a different experience out of this, so it's all fine. Take a moment and just focus on your breath and your lungs. And I just want you to be aware of your body sitting there in the chair or in the couch, what have you. I just want you to notice the sensations in your body, where the gravity's pulling it down. Your lungs inhaling and exhaling. Maybe any emotions you feel. Be aware of just how you can move your attention around your body and notice different sensations. And now I want you to play a little journey or game with our imagination. I want you to imagine that you can step outside that body and that you can move across the room, maybe stand in a doorway or by a window or in a corner, and you can look back at where that human being is sitting. And that there's a version number 2 standing elsewhere in the room, looking at the first image of you, sitting down there in a chair or couch. Version number 2 is sitting there watching version number 1. And it's standing there in a doorway or a corner. And you can notice the weight in your feet of standing, in your joints and your muscles, in the effort of standing, and the angle, and the light in the room, all the sensations you can feel, how your head is tilted, where your eyes are looking, watching version number 1. And you can also notice in version number 1, you can see the stories in their head. Maybe the thoughts that are in their head or the feelings that they're feeling. But in version number 2, standing across a room, you're somewhat removed from those stories and thoughts and emotions. And you can see them. You can see them happening in version number 1. But they belong to version number 1. And this new perspective doesn't see things the same way. And now, just because we can imagine and we can extend our imagination, I want you to imagine that you can also step back from version number 2. And you can move across the room and pick a spot in the room that you can watch version number 1 and number 2. And version number 1 sitting there and maybe has stories and thoughts going on, and version number 2 might have some comments about version number 1. But version number 3 is in a whole new point of view. Even watching the way version number 2 watches version number 1. And what you notice in version number 3, you can feel the sensation of however you're sitting or standing in version number 3. You can notice that you can have bodily sensations. Focus on different parts of your body as you imagine standing there. And just watch. Notice if version number 3's mind is kind of quiet about what they see. Compare it to version 2 and version 1. And maybe move back into version number 2 and watch version 1 and 3. See what that looks like. Or drop into version 1 and notice the other 2 versions looking around the room at each other. Play with moving between points of view of these imaginary selves. Seeing how they are differently experiencing the same room or the same dream of being in a room. If you want to and you find this playful, you can imagine version number 4. You can play with any idea comes to mind in your imagination. Maybe notice the feeling in version number 2 or version number 3. Notice how each of them feel different, if they do. Notice the feeling in each one. If they feel different. Which one feels the best? Put your hands up and show the number of fingers that feels the best. Leave your hands up. Everybody have a hand up? Open your eyes. Look around. I see 3s and 4s and a couple 2s. Your experience will vary. Was any of them more real than any other?
One. One was more real.
One was more real. Okay. Was any of them actually more real? Did one feel more real or was more real?
Feel.
Felt more real. Was it more real?
No.
Felt more real. Did it feel more real? Or let me ask you, why did it feel more real?
I could feel the pain, the heaviness of my body in the first one.
Okay. And in the second or third or fourth one, it felt the
It
best?
felt less. I
Felt less pain.
A release.
Okay.
I felt felt lighter with each one.
Yeah.
I was floating in 4.
Does pain make it more real then, or?
No, the first one, like, I could almost feel like a heaviness in my heart. And then as I went on, it felt, by 3, I just felt relaxed.
Okay, so I use the term more real. Is that more accurate? Would we maybe say you felt the strongest
Strongest.
experience
At 3, yes.
well, the strongest pain was in
Pain.
1.
Yes.
Does that make it more real?
At the time it did, yes, because I'm sitting here and I could feel it inside my body.
Okay.
So
Palpable,
it was
stronger
real to me.
sensation.
Yes,
Maybe we need to explore what real is then.
maybe so.
Okay. Okay, but yeah, what you felt strongest in the pain department. Okay.